Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Georgiman and I'm your friendly neighborhood anime and manga fan. I love all things anime and all things manga, and I'm here today to talk about Chainsaw Man chapter 141. So, what did I think about this week's chapter? In all honesty, I think this week's chapter was fantastic. I think it did a great job at not only showing us, as the viewers, what Denji's experiencing right now, but we also get to see pretty much what it seems to be like the setup for the climax of this particular part of Chainsaw Man, because right now it seems like everything's being built up and everything's being set up perfectly and meticulously by Fujimoto in a way that will pretty much blow up in the next couple of chapters, I think, because from everything I gather in this chapter, it seems like something really big is going to happen, and when it does happen, it's going to change the entire franchise going forward. Now, before I go any further with this week's chapter, I just wanted to give you guys a quick reminder to make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you guys can be up to date with all my Chainsaw Man as well as all my anime and manga content that I'll be providing in this channel. It really helps out a lot, and I would really appreciate if you guys could subscribe to my YouTube channel. So if you guys could, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now, with all that out of the way, let's get into this week's chapter. So how this week's chapter starts off is we actually get to see a regular day in the life of Denji. We see what he pretty much does now that he's quote-unquote retired as Chainsaw Man. And in all honesty, I think Fujimoto did a masterful job at pretty much showing us, instead of telling us what Denji's going through, not only, in his everyday life, but also what's inside of, in his psyche. Because we see just how down and pretty much how helpless Denji feels at this moment, because he doesn't understand what he wants to do with his life. And it all really comes across when we see a random devil just pretty much attacking like civilians, and we see that Denji, he looks like he's ready to turn into Chainsaw Man. But as soon as he's about to, we see a bunch of like the public safety hunters, they step in and take care of the problem. And he starts questioning, like, am I really needed anymore? Like, all right, like I can't transform into, Chainsaw Man because of Nayuta's sake. And then we pan to pretty much he goes back home, and we see that he's just living a regular day life. He's just, taking a shower with his dogs. He's been with Nayuta, just brushing teeth, and it's very wholesome. We see just how much of a regular life, Denji and Nayuta have been living up to this point in the story. And it seems like, for the most part, that's the thing that he always wanted. But as time goes on, I think it's really starting to kick in with him, like the fact that, is this everything I ever wanted? It seems like I want more. And I think that's something that, we humans always want to strive for more. And I think that he's no longer just content in just living a regular day life. He doesn't just want to stay by the norm. He wants to, step out and just kind of, be Chainsaw Man. He really enjoyed, the fame that came across it. And we see that it really starts kicking in to him, like, man, like he starts really missing it, because you even see that he's just kind of, while now he's just sleeping on the dog, so you see that he's staring at a poster of Chainsaw Man. And what I equated that scene to, I think it was similar to something along the lines of pretty much imagining yourself looking at a picture of your younger self and just thinking like, wow, like how much life and how fun it was to be doing those things. And I think that that's what Denji's doing right now in this moment, because it seems like he just misses being Chainsaw Man, which we obviously know that he does. And I feel like that's something that we a lot could relate. I mean, we miss our simpler days, maybe when we were younger. I mean, for Denji, it hasn't been that long, but I mean, Denji, he really enjoyed Chainsaw Man. That was something that he genuinely was happy doing. So, just him reminiscing, like, that was very sad. Like, it was very heartbreaking. And just the fact that even at one point he, tells Nayuta, like, hey, like, what's my purpose in life? Like, he starts just questioning everything. He starts asking, like, okay, after I graduate, like, what am I going to do? Get a job? Like, what's, like, when I become a grown-up, like, what am I going to do with life? And that's something that, that's very heavy. Like, that's something that Denji, I don't think up to this point in the story, really ever thought about it. I think that he always just thought, like, yeah, I'll take care of Nayuta, I'll get a girlfriend, I'll become Chainsaw Man. I thought that was pretty much how his life was going to be. But now that, people are telling him you can't do these things, and he seems like he's just becoming a regular everyday person, and that's something that Denji would never want to become. And I don't think that's something that Aki as well as Power and them would want him to do. They probably would want him to strive to do something even better than that, most likely. And then what we see is that Nayuta starts asking Denji, like, hey, are you happy, like, with life? And then Denji just pretty much answers and says, I don't know. And Nayuta is like, oh, poor little Denji, like, it's like, you're fine. And she goes, as long as you're with me, you should be happy, right? As long as you're fine with me, you're gonna be happy. And because I'm that damn cute. That's pretty much what she says. And Denji just kind of like nonchalantly goes down and just kind of lays down next to her, and the dogs are laying next to her, and it was a sweet moment. But at the same time, in the back of my mind, I kept thinking to myself, like, Denji didn't really respond, and I think he just was going with the flow. because he himself doesn't know. And the saddest part about it all to me was just pretty much seeing Denji just going with the flow once again, because I think that genuinely, there's some hesitation when he was laying down. I think that he just kind of like went with the flow in the sense like, you know what, I do care for Nayuta and I do want to, be happy with you and all, but I also want to do something for myself. But that's something I think he needs to step up and, eventually learn as the story progresses. So then after that, we pretty much catch up with Barem and Suno, as well as we get to see that we get the reintroduction of 2 of the other hybrids, and they're confirmed to be part of the church. And from the looks of it, it seems like the whip hybrid as well as the spear hybrid have been part of this church, and they're in with Barem's plan. And they're kind of eating. They're talking about like there's gonna be a church gathering, and during the church gatherings they're not allowed to like hunt devils, because it's a whole protocol, but most likely a bunch of devils will show up, and when they do, the public safety community will show up and exterminate the devils. And what pretty much Barem comes up with is this elaborate scheme which revolves about what I understood was they're gonna transform into their hybrid versions and just kind of start wreaking havoc, and they're gonna just kill all these public safety members, and they're just gonna keep doing it over and over until pretty much Denji transforms and stops them, something along those lines, because they did say like Barem's plan just seems like he's gonna just commit a massacre. Like he just seems like he's just gonna be killing people left and right, and it's gonna be a bloodbath. And even up to one point, Sumo is like questioning everything. He's like, whoa, what's all this about? And you see that the whip hybrid is telling him like, listen, we're only weapons. When everything goes down in this plan, we're only weapons. And he's like, dude, I am a human. That's the only reason I don't want to be controlled anymore. And it seems like I keep being controlled. And I think that's planting the seeds. Either Sumo's gonna kind of turn against them, in the sense that once he starts seeing the massacre, I think he's gonna be like, this is not okay, like what am I doing? And he might even join Denji's side. And what we see after that is pretty much like I said, he was saying like this is horrible, we can't be doing this. And then we pretty much see Barem just deliver this chilling dialogue, which involves pretty much he's talking about like, hey, do you know why God created weapons, devils, and hunters? You know what they were meant for? And he was like, no. And then we pretty much see that he answers by saying devils, weapons, and humans were created solely to kill. And that's how the chapter ends. And this whole scene gave me chills, because I was like, this dude is sadistic. I think this dude is twisted, and like I'm wondering now, like was him being controlled by over Makima, was that even a better outcome than this? Because he seems like way more unhinged, and that's a big oof. Now there's a couple scenarios I can see going forward in the next chapter, which if they start doing this massacre thing, I could see definitely Asa stepping in and being like, hey, cut this out. And because we know that Asa, she is a follower of the church. However, I don't think that she will be fine, just seeing people die left and right, especially after the Falling Devil arc, where she feels all this consciousness. And I think the fact that she's part of this church and she sees all these people committing like all these terrible things, all these people dying left and right, I think that will turn her and just be like, no, I can't allow this, and she definitely will fight against them. Another outcome I can see is that pretty much Yoshida steps in, maybe Famine, but at the same time I don't even know what Famine's plan is right now, because it seems like she's just kind of in the background. We don't know exactly what she's planning. But I can definitely see maybe Yoshida stepping in, taking care of business. But even if he does, will he be strong enough to fight against 4 hybrids? I highly doubt that. Another scenario I can see is the fake Chainsaw Man step in and probably help either Asa, like as soon as, she's maybe being pushed back, maybe he comes in and helps her out. And a final scenario I could see is that pretty much Denji, he goes to pretty much the crime scene as he's watching probably on TV or something. And he goes in there, and let's say throughout it all, maybe Nayuta gets hit, like some debris hits her or something, and he gets pissed off. It's like, all right, you promised me you wouldn't harm her. That's enough. You broke your promises. And let's say he transforms into Chainsaw Man, and then he starts fighting. But those are all the scenarios I can see. But there's a lot of things to, speculate about, because right now it seems like we're stepping into something big. It seems like this is going to be a big battle sequence, I think, because we're going to have 4 hybrids. And I know, like I said, Asa is going to probably step in there, and Denji, Fake Chainsaw Man, Yoshida. If all these factors come in and start fighting each other, it's going to be a crazy action sequence, and I can't wait to see that. Now, with all that being said, what did you guys think about this week's chapter? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys thought it was alright? Whatever you guys thought, let me know in the comment section down below. Also, thank you so much for sticking all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more Chainsaw Man, as well as more anime and manga content in the near future. But yeah, with that being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.